I came across a new term last week, admin creep. Now, I've never heard it described that way before, but I know what it is, and anyone working in ops or HR probably knows exactly what it feels like. So, put simply, admin creep is the gradual build-up of small routine jobs that start to take up more and more of your time. Now, these tasks are not usually part of your original job description. They're just extra things you have to do to maintain your processes as you go. For example, an HR administrator might expect to be issuing contracts, recording absence, documenting performance. That's all pretty standard stuff as far as an HR admin job goes. But their job description probably doesn't include processing password requests, typing duplicate data into 3 different systems, or having a weekly meeting with ops managers to review and verify timesheet submissions. Now, admin creep isn't exclusive to HR or even to certain types of business. It happens in most job roles and most organizations eventually. And it's because systems evolve, people leave, new tools get added, manual workarounds tend to become the norm. And that's just the reality of having a job for the most part. You kind of accept that admin creep over time is going to slowly add to your pile of responsibilities and start to eat away at your time and your focus. But you don't have to accept it. And I'm going to give you an example of one HR manager who got hit by admin creep almost overnight. I guess you'd call that more of an admin attack, really. But anyway, so when the strategic HR lead at Cooper's Fire left unexpectedly, their HR manager, Kelly Francis, found herself responsible for doing all things HR for over 200 people, completely on her own. Now, her task was made especially difficult due to the makeup of her organisation. You see, Cooper's Fire manufactures fire safety equipment for buildings all over the UK. So that means they have manufacturing sites. They have workers who go out on site to install equipment or survey premises, and they have office staff who promote and run the business centrally. So when Kelly got left on her own, she found that there were far more admin tasks on her plate than she expected. You see, even though they had an HR system, it was an older legacy HR system, and in Kelly's words, it actually made her job harder. Because she had a situation, for example, where staff wanted to log in and access their records, but the system wasn't even modern enough to let them self-serve their own password resets, which meant that at one point, Kelly was resetting up to 25 passwords a week. And so not only this, but she was also having to manually build contracts from scratch for every different type of worker. And onboarding was a tangle of spreadsheets, emails, paper forms, and the sudden admin creep or admin attack, if you like, basically made staying on top of HR nearly impossible. Now, some people, probably myself included, would have buried their heads in the sand at this point and let things overwhelm them. But Kelly decided to take a different approach. She spent 12 months researching HR systems, and she vowed to replace her legacy system with one that would get rid of this admin creep for good. And after some careful research, she chose Sense Workplace, which allowed her to automate repetitive admin and give employees more control through modern self-service. Now, within weeks of implementing the system, she'd actually dropped onboarding time by around 90%. And that's because she was automating the customization of new contracts, and she wasn't having to manage a single password reset request because the system allowed her people to do that for her. I'm not going to go on about the things Kelly did with Sense Workplace too much. There's plenty more, and you can read about it on our blog if you want to. But that isn't really the point of this video. The point is not even that everyone needs new software. The point is that when admin creep gets on top of you, you have to act, because it is not going to fix itself. So the next time you find yourself spending more time than usual on low-value admin, then it might be time to look at how your processes or your systems could be working harder for you. So maybe for you, it will be a case of asking if a certain process really is necessary. Maybe you could survive without it. Perhaps it will be a case of realizing that somebody else in another department is sitting on their hands with nothing to do and would love nothing more than to take some of your admin off your hands. Yes, it might be a case that you can implement a system that automates some of the mindless tasks you've been doing and frees you up to do the stuff you were actually hired for. But either way, if admin creep is getting on top of you, then you need to take action. And if you're interested in learning more about how Kelly tackled this at Cooper's Fire, then you can head over to our blog and read the full story. It's actually a great example of what's possible when you take a step back and rethink how you're actually working. Thanks for watching.